Good morning.
Somebody missing here?
Someone?
Okay.
No hard knocks, I guess, huh? Yeah. Are they done? So now we're getting the good stuff?
Is that a law?
Yeah, here we go. Bring it. Let's bring the heat. Let's get into it. Yeah. Could be myself, I guess. Yeah.
Since we get your A game now, can you
Yeah.
talk about any additions or subtractions on the COVID list, and where is Lyle Collins as far as being able to do that?
LC is dealing with a neck issue right now, so that's we're in a holding pattern. He will not practice today. Connor Williams will work with Britt today just to see where he's at, coming off of it. So we'll see how that goes as far as his status. To activate him will directly in line with the workout today.
So he's cleared. It's just with the conditioning on where he
Yeah,
is.
just see where he is. But I mean, before we pull him over. So yeah.
But he can work with the team right now or no?
Yeah, my understanding he can work in a rehab mode to make sure everything's he checks out.
So this is the final step until he's removed from reserve COVID.
That's my understanding. Yes.
Mike, you said you were going to do everything you could in the final practices to get Dak as prepared as possible, considering all he's missed. How will you do that from this point forward?
Well, we're focused on the game plan. So, I mean, if there's anything inside of the game plan that we feel like we need some reps on, we'll tailor it to that. I mean, this is plan specific. Every rep that we take has a specific goal. Obviously, how we're running it, but really the look we're anticipating from Tampa. But we're also the reality of playing in these first 2 or 3 games each year. There's going to be 35, potentially 40% unscouted looks. I mean, that's what the history of this league will tell you. So, we're really focusing on the things that we feel will definitely be executed and giving our guys clean plays, as I like to refer to, in this game. So as far as Dak in particular, we'll really just be focused on the scheme-specific things that we're going to do on Thursday night.
And it's your understanding he has no limitations with the game. He can do whatever you need him to do.
He's full go.
What do you think you've lost in terms of having him be ready for the speed of the game, handling the noise, having taken a first hit, and all those things?
I mean, it doesn't matter, not to be flippant about it. I mean, it's no excuses. We're going to line up and play week 1 against the Buccaneers. We're excited about the environment we get to play in. It's part of being a Dallas Cowboy. But we're ready to go. I mean, our guys have been, totally dialed in. I mean, there's always that transition period that goes into, that first practice. As far as particular our roster and all the different things going on, this is obviously very, I would say, high as far as the number of moving parts. So I really liked the work yesterday. I thought we got off to a really good start. So looking forward to a hard padded practice today. So we have the mandatory 4th day off tomorrow. So then we'll start Sunday as if it was a full week. Sunday will be a normal Wednesday for us. So I like the plan that we have in place, and players are into it, and we'll be ready to go.
How's he looked in his 4 practices? Has there been a moment where you said, okay, I think he's past this?
Yeah, I like your question. I like all the questions, but it's I think there's definitely those moments that you look for any player coming off of injury, and I felt that way really the last couple of practices. I thought the red zone practice where we really just cut him loose. Blaine was the call. He stepped up, hit the bump route. I mean, stepped up with some urgency and snapped it off. That was kind of that moment where I thought, okay, he's back, he's fine. Go from there.
Was that in the stadium that day? Or?
No, that was the one that was outside when he did the red zone, the high red zone work.
Where does the catching up take place, if any, in your mind, for all the missed time there?
Well, I mean, I think it's, you got to give him credit for the process that he worked himself through. I mean, it isn't like, he just stood in the back and didn't do anything, while he wasn't throwing. I mean, he stayed on top of the footwork, his conditioning, he couldn't be better. I mean, so all the extra work that all these guys put into it, Dak took advantage of that time. So the only thing we need to do is make sure to staying with the term scheme specific, route specific, timing specific, time clocks that we're anticipate playing in. Just get as many of those reps to review for him and Amari. Him and Amari didn't have a ton of work. So I mean, that's and we got time. We'll have our practice today, and we got the Wednesday, Thursday, and the Saturday practice next week. So tight practice. So we'll be ready to go.
You talk about the 35 to 40% unscouted looks, which I'm sure assume applies to you the other way too.
Yeah.
When you haven't had an offense together as much as you would like, does it cut into how many of those you show early in the season? Do you have to get to a certain level of comfort before you do them?
I've seen it done different ways. I think we all go through a scheme evaluation period. Really immediately after the season's over and you get back together as a staff. Obviously we had a new staff on defense, so you go through that scheme evaluation. You analyze exactly who you were last year, because I think, like a lot of us, who you really are on tape as opposed to who you think you are. That's something you have to regulate and stay in tune with each and every week. So really diving into the full 16 game, you look at that, you go through it, and you just kind of got to decide who you want to be. You can't be everything. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's something I've always lived by in scheme development, and you gotta be careful there, because you can get too much, you get too diluted. Because at the end of the day, it's about letting these guys play fast, have clean looks, and let the players take over. By no means do we want to be slowing our players down with volume or ideas and so forth. I'm a big believer in, the more reps on a particular concept or family of concepts is really how you best prepare your team for a 17-game season.
In all seriousness, with Hard Knocks no longer here, how does that change some of the work that you can do with players and meetings? And you kind of referenced that earlier, but how does that dynamic of privacy alter things?
The first thing was, you get away from just a couple, 2 or 3 step break dance, and then you give them the whole thing. Just bring it. So no, it's. I would say it gives you a chance to be more genuine. I think a lot of things that we do in life, especially in professional sports and specific to the Dallas Cowboys, it's about time and place. There's things that you're able to do and say in particular spaces that are important to the individuals in that space, and you clearly wouldn't say them probably exactly how you would, or maybe behave exactly how you would, or respond exactly how you would. And I think it's human nature if there's 15 cameras in a room. So I think we all understand that. I think the Hard Knocks experience was a good one. It was, I thought they were very professional. I thought we worked very well together. But it's different having that in your space. And I just don't think you get the maximum result out of group dynamic activity and beliefs and conversations and interactions with that type of environment. And that's why as a coach, you're protective of your environment because of what you're trying to develop. It's not that we're doing 75 different things that no one else is doing. I think it's football. It's the game of football. We're relatively trying to do the same things each and every day, but everybody does it a little differently. And everybody spends a little more time on this as opposed to that, and that's, to me, that's all part of the competitive advantage you're trying to create.
Somewhat disrupted or stunted that development anyway. How now, with them gone, do you make up for lost times?
Well, I don't want to. That's not my message. We're not making up for lost time. We had a great environment of training. Frankly, a lot of our changes, throughout training camp, and having to deal with things that you don't deal with every day. I'm hopeful that you pay that forward, and it's helped us prepare for a season. Playing and coaching here is a little bit more of a challenge than some of the other places I've worked. You have more travel, you have more national TV games. You're in a southern climate, so those are the things I focus on, and and everybody's different. So, and we got, like I said, we put a lot of time in our plan. Our players are extremely coachable. The way they work. The way they attack the weight room. We got a lot of great things going on here as how we're trying to build this team. We're doing things the right way. I'm extremely confident in that, and the response of the players is intact. But hey, it's time to win games. As you know, all of us have a job to do, and it's about winning, and that's our focus. And everything we push forward is about winning.
What excites you the most about Dan Quinn and the defensive changes that he made?
Like a lot of things about what Dan's brought to the table, but I think like anything, a big part of being a coordinator in this league is pulling people together, starting with your staff and then the players. And I think the way Dan has pulled the defensive staff together has been awesome. It's been fun to watch. I know he's enjoyed it. Just him and I have talked about it on a regular basis, how much fun he's having, and I'm a little jealous for as much fun he's having coordinating and coaching football. And because the head coaching job's different. It's different today than it was 15 years ago, clearly, and so but he's done a good job, excellent job in a lot of areas. But the way he's pulled the staff together and the way the players have connected with the staff, I feel great about the direction we're going.
What are some of the differences from the way you had to do your job 15 years ago?
Oh, shoot. Number of emails. That's the first thing that, as a head coach, you realize how many emails, but then as the times have changed, it's just the administrative responsibility is clearly the challenge. There's so much more today than it was 15 years ago.
Do you have to be more of a CEO than you ever envisioned you'd be when you were a young coach?
More than I ever wanted. I think it's like a lot of things in life, as you move up the professional ladder, the things that got you there, it seems like that's what you get pulled away from. So, I think that's a challenge for all of us.
You've had the privilege to work with so many outstanding quarterbacks. When you watch Tom Brady, what do you most appreciate about his game?
Well, I think like anything, a lot of things about his game, but longevity. It's difficult to win a championship in this league, and don't take. I'm not trying to throw it. It's not that hard. It's extremely different. I think history will show you that of how many players and coaches that have long careers are in this league and never really have a chance to win a Super Bowl. So it's so difficult to win a Super Bowl, and the fact that he's won 7. It's just unbelievable. But I think my personal belief, the biggest challenge in this league is to have continued success. To have success and to play at that level for such a long period of time. To me, I think that's a tremendous quality, and he's living it, and he eats it every day. You could just see just the way he goes about it, from what you hear about, not only his approach and where he is today, but to be able to do it at such a high level for such a long time, that's what I'm most impressed with.
I think Micah was like 16 months old when Brady was a rookie. Do you have to tell these guys, hey, don't be starstruck by what you're about to get into with a guy like him here in your first game?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's it's part of that conversation, and it's when you go through these types of games, and frankly, I think it's awesome for our younger players to experience this right out the gate, because when you have a chance to play against a championship quarterback, championship quarterbacks are different. They pose a whole different challenge to you, and and it just gives you more focus on not only the start of the game, but the way that game's going to end, and just because at the end of the day we all have pretty much the same amount of time to prepare, and you think what kind of game you're going into, but you really don't. Every game is its own entity, but you got to be prepared for the ebb and flow and what direction those games are going to go. But when you play the championship quarterbacks, you know that they're always going to be in the game, they're always going to be pressing your defense, and they're definitely factor in the outcome of the game. So I think with that, just as much experience as you can have as a young defender will definitely pay dividends moving forward.
What's the importance of interior pressure when you're going up against this particular championship quarterback?
The importance
of interior pressure?
Well, the importance is pressure. It doesn't matter how we get there. It's I think like anything, if we give him a clean pocket all day, that's definitely not going to work in our favor. So, and I think that's really for any quarterback, especially in today's NFL, because today's NFL is so much more about space and big play opportunities. Just the way the rules changes and everything that's going on in the last 5 to 10 years. So, you cannot let these quarterbacks in today's game sit there all day and throw the ball. Especially Tom Brady.
When how was CD in practice yesterday? When these other guys coming off COVID, do they work? Do you rank them up, or do they just kind of go back to what they're doing for?
That's if how much you guys. I'm not exactly sure how long you're out there, but I've learned this through experience. That first practice coming off of this, the 3 or 4 day break, and it's even longer for some of your starters. You got to be really smart with the length of it, just the short area stress on the guys. The fatigue injury capabilities are higher. So we were only out there for a minute and I think an hour and 19 minutes yesterday. So to answer your question, the design of the practice kind of took care of where CD and I think where the other guys came. But I love the fact that it was hot, and we had great tempo. It was a really good practice for the structure and the things that I look for, and the tape supported it too. So I thought we definitely got a good one in the can.
CD looked fine.
CD was fine. Yes.
How did Donovan Wilson handle his rehab work yesterday, and will he be able to practice more?
Donovan's still in rehab. Yeah, he's still in the rehab. He will not work today.
Todd Bowles uses a lot of creative stunts and twists to disguise pass rushers. What are some of the challenges that Tampa's defensive front presents?
Todd's excellent. I've always appreciated the way he's coached, and I think anytime you see a defensive coordinator that's been in the league as long as he has, and I just we're talking about him last night, and it's Lovie Smith's another guy that I look at this way, and. I've had a chance to compete against Lovie back in 2000, all the way current, and then I look at Todd very similar. I think 06. I'm trying to remember what year was his first year as a coordinator. But the one thing that's very apparent is his defenses all play the same, regardless of where you're at, and that's a true testament to what kind of coach respect that I have for him. So challenges just schematically, his players play the right way. He's aggressive, so aggressive to take away potential matchup stresses. So. We're enjoying the challenge that he's presenting to us.
If Leo can't go, is Naseki the next guy up? Can you talk about the type of camp he's had?
Yeah, Ty, we'll both work, Ty and Terrence here. So, we'll be ready to go with both those guys. I think Ty is, obviously where he is in his career. I thought he's done a good job of this, throughout camp. And, I think he's been getting not only better, but more and more comfortable for what we're asking him to do. So I think he's had a very solid camp.
How do you reflect on the Zach Martin tackle experience of last year? Is that a break glass only in case of emergency situation in your view moving forward?
Well, I think stating obvious, it was a necessity. Based off of the number of injuries and how fast they came. So I would hope that we don't have to go that way ever again. But I think it speaks volumes about Zach Martin that he, jumped out there and, gave us the, quality play that he was able to give us. So, but yeah, I think like any experience, any negative experience, there's definitely, something that you can pay forward with it.
Mike, you talked about what a good experience it is for young guys to face a championship quarterback so early. Beyond what someone like Brady can do physically, how do you prepare them for just how high his football IQ is and how many things he's seen over the course of the career and can
really can't concern yourself with that. We're focused on our IQ, but more important, the trusting of our instincts and awareness and how it applies to this specific game. So, at the end of the day, when the ball's kicked off, it's about the competition, the adjustments made within the game, and so forth. So, we're not going to be really thinking about the IQ of anybody else. We better not even be thinking about our IQ. We need to just be in tune with the reality and the space that we're in. Be where your feet are, stay focused on winning the football game and all the things that the investment that we put into getting ready for this game, but really for this whole season. So that'll be our mindset.
Mike, how much are Rush and Greer in a competition, and also given the COVID circumstance, the rest, how much do you lean to saying, we'll keep all four arms around here?
Well, I think the important thing is if you look at the big picture part of it, the quarterback room, that's something that we want to continue to develop. That's I don't think I've always believed that you should always have four in a building. It's the most important position in football. So the resources you apply to it, I think you should try to maximize it. So that's philosophical. The reality of it, I think Will's learning the language today. So Doug's been meeting with him individually, yesterday and today, and so with that, it'll be Dak and Cooper this week. I got to see how Will progresses to really give you, any insight on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.